क्या ये PR का तरीका नहीं है?
नाइस क्वेश्चन है.
One book every leader should read.
Okay, now it's somebody's money going in, right? It's a shareholder's money going in. Tomorrow the shareholder is going to get up and say, what did you do with my money? If you say, no, I have constructed 100 toilets, but क्या मजाक कर रहे हैं sir? 60% of that village I went and I saw they are still defecating in open.
One leadership habit you wish you had developed earlier.
Listening power.
I was actually reading about it. It is called ESG.
Oh yes, the great twin.
When you talk about these, so एक word आता है AI. So how this is
खतरनाक word.
और हाँ, और कैसे helpful है ये अपने लिए?
हमेशा हमको एक चीज लगता है कि the next generation is foolish and doesn't know what to do. The earlier generation is overprotective. ऐसा नहीं है.
It's a kind of a reality check.
Well, first of all, they'll miss both of us if they don't see this podcast. आपके बोर्ड के पेपर आपके क्लास टीचर क्यों नहीं चेक करते? This is a logical question.
Right.
आप बाहर के इन्वेस्टिगेटर्स बुलाते हो to maintain authenticity and neutrality. So you should hire consulting. हम बैठे ना करने के लिए. I don't want to see your Instagram reels. Like I'm not on Instagram. I'm not anywhere on social media. Right?
When you introduce these things, so how the other party have stayed? What was their reaction?
They were blown away.
Okay.
They were blown away. Even today, when we onboard clients, when they come and meet, and they see how we function, they're blown away.
So through this podcast, if I may ask, are you hiring people these days?
We are always looking for talent. एक फैक्ट्री का आप शॉप फ्लोर का इमेजिनेशन रखो अपने दिमाग में. 2 cars in a day. अब मैंने ह्यूमनॉइड्स लगा दिया, रोबोट्स लगा दिए. Now they are making 20 cars in a day. Efficiency goes up by 100x. At the same time, 25,000 people have been laid off from various companies. So what happens now? So these people who have been laid off were your potential consumers. Now you have overproduction, but at the same time, you have lesser consumers. बोलते ना गालिब जिंदगी भर एक गलती करता रहा, धूल चेहरे पे थी, आईना साफ करता रहा. And I want to warn them that they're getting into this so-called lingo of FOMO, fear of missing out.
Hi, my name is Akash and you're watching our podcast. But before I say anything about this podcast, एक छोटी सी कहानी मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. अब कहानी ये है कि जब मैं छोटा था, या इतना भी छोटा नहीं था, बट हाँ छोटा था, ताकि इतनी समझ नहीं थी कि सही क्या है या गलत क्या है, लेकिन ये इतनी भी समझ थी कि दुनिया में क्या चल रहा है. एक ना बार बार मेरे दिमाग में और मेरे आसपास कुछ वर्ड्स आते थे. CSR, हेल्प करना, वर्ल्ड को चेंज करना, मदद करना, कुछ इस तरह के वर्ड्स आते थे. अब मैं ऐसा क्यों बोल रहा हूँ? एक सिंपल से एक रीज़न है. रीज़न ये है कि जो आज मेरे साथ बैठे हैं, उन्होंने लगभग 2 दशक यानी 2 decades इस काम के ऊपर दिया है. इस काम में वो शामिल रहे हैं और पूरा अपना हार्डवर्क, अपना पूरा इनपुट और पूरी अपनी मेहनत लगाई है. सो लेट मी वेलकम आवर co-host, not guest, because podcast उन्हीं का ही है. So let me welcome to you all DTalk with Soumitro Chakraborty. So welcome.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you.
And I should say last जो हमारी podcast रही थी, it was kind of an introductory for me. For the people, I am assuming कि बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला होगा. But for me, I think it was like a big पोथी, से कि बहुत कुछ होती, उसमें बहुत कुछ था. आई रियली वॉन्ट टू नो, और थोड़ा सा रिकॉल करना चाहता हूँ अबाउट कि क्या क्या बातें हुई उसको. एंड सेकेंडली 2 decades. सो हाउ आई जस्ट वॉन्ट टू नो कि CSR प्लस आई वॉन्ट टू नो टू थिंग्स यहाँ. पहला, जो CSR इंडिया में है ना, सो हाउ दिस होल CSR थिंग्स एक्चुअली वर्किंग इन इंडिया, एंड अबाउट फ्रॉम योर साइड एंड ऑल्सो, बिकॉज आपके साइड से क्या है, 2 decades लगाए हैं, हाउ इट ऑल स्टार्टेड. वी टॉक्ड अबाउट योर करियर, कैसा था आपने, हाउ यू स्टार्टेड दिस, बट अगेन व्हाट वाज द मोटिवेशन पॉइंट?
First of all, this is episode 2 of our series. So thank you again for the same. 2 decades becomes very dynamic, not only because we are operational for now nearly 2 decades. ये एक वजह हो सकता है. It can be one of the reasons why 2 decades becomes synonymous with that. But the other point is that in the last 20 years, nearly 20 years, or maybe 20 plus some years, the transition from charity to philanthropy to responsibility has happened very dynamically. So when I say very dynamically, I mean in the earlier concept, according to our own aspects of mythology and everything, we have always been a very giving society, right? In whatever forms. That transcended into corporate, into the corporate sector when India, especially in the post-independent arena, when with Tatas, Birlas, Goenkas, and they started industries with that respect. They started taking care of social initiatives on the ground. And I don't want to delve into it because the entire country knows about it. You also are very well aware of it. But this was very limited. This was limited in silos across the industrial segment. Of late, what has happened is, in the last 20 plus years, we have seen a change both in the adaptation, where industry at large has started adapting and started realizing that my end consumer determines the profitability of the organization. So if I don't take care of the consumer, they will not be able to take care of the company as well. So I would say part of it came from conscience, but part of it also came to maintain profit books, right? So it all started from there, but in the last 15 plus years, the mandate came in, the awareness with the advent of social media and digital explosion that happened, everything came in. So people became more aware. They became more informed. Now they had information in their hands to understand which company is working with its ethics in place, which company is actually giving back to the society, part of its commitment. I would not only say this 2%, 3%, 5%, forget about it. I'm talking about people, money, time, anything. But which company is intending to give back to the society. So ideally, that change has happened very dynamically and at a relatively faster pace compared to the last 50 years before that in these 20 years. So I think if CSR has really taken off, it has been in the last 20 years plus. So today, we were just discussing before the podcast, you're looking at somewhere around 300 to 300 crores of investment in corporate social responsibility. Last fiscal, India's budget on the total spent on CSR was nearly 41,000 crore. And if with limited knowledge, if I can assume the growth that is going to happen in this sphere, in the next 3 years, we are going to be a 75,000 crore CSR corpus on spent. Yes, as we go ahead, we can talk about that, but look at the dynamics from a few hundred crores to 40,000 crore. This happened in the last 20 years. So therefore, these 20 years with the advent of technology, people, time, concentration, focus, and distribution, these 2 decades would have redefined CSR completely. And therefore, I think we are blessed as an institution to be in the right place at the right time. Now it is our hard work to ensure we stay in the right way with the right attitude. That's it.
So basically, I have understood so far that it's about to help the society, first of all. And second thing is that you need to have funds and then only you will be able to help other.
True.
How these two different or two other things linked to each other?
See, one is, if you go by the mandate, you need to have a certain area of profitability, and then obviously you have to have a mandate to spend 2% or whatever it is. But if you look at evolution of CSR in India, you would realize that it was never about a percentile of the profit. I know a lot of SMEs, I know a lot of companies who do not fall in the mandate. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised.
They don't fall under the mandate.
And they still continue to do CSR. Means a lot of our clients, a lot of clients that we serve in corporations, don't fall in the mandate of the CSR under the profitability and turnover index. But they have been doing historically and are still doing phenomenal amount of work on the ground. So first of all, we have to get out of the idea that the mandate actually ensures that you are doing CSR. So even if you take today's 40,000 or 41,000 crore of investment, you will see quite a bit of large amount is coming from companies who are beyond the mandate, who are not falling in the mandate,
So they are just
but are still doing
voluntarily.
CSR, but are still taking up social initiatives.
Okay.
So if your question, if I'm getting it right, is only about capital availability,
Yeah.
then that is not right. I think intention availability has always driven corporate social responsibility in India. And we can argue and debate on it. Company A, Company B, Company C and the derivatives. Yes, it is worth. And we should at some point of time raise questions on it. Because it also creates an enabling atmosphere for contradictions to survive. But if you ask me technically, I think capital availability is not a limiting factor for you to get into CSR. It may be a mandatory factor if you come into that zone, which is obviously a government mandate, and it's a great initiative. But I think if you don't come into the mandate, suppose for example your profit is not 5 crores, your profit is 4.95 crores.
Okay, yeah.
You are not in the mandate. But if you want to do something, who stops you from doing that good work? So I think a lot of that investment is also coming in the CSR space from companies which are not in the mandate, but has intention availability to do the stuff.
Just, I have one more kind of a query or kind of a question. क्या ये PR का तरीका नहीं है?
Nice question. है. Direct answer, hai. The question is, how many people are utilizing this as PR? See, which industry in the world today is devoid of PR? There is not a single industry in the world which is devoid of PR. I would say the recent protest that we saw was PR driven.
Okay.
Right. So, if you take the element of PR out, which in our area of conversation that we are having is basically brand building and brand positioning. For example, how do you know Tata's is a very responsible company? Because one of the basic facts to understand Tata's is that majority of their stock shareholding is not with the Tata's but with the trust.
Yeah.
Right. But how do you know this? Because somebody told you at some point of time, right?
Yeah.
Because somebody told me or my team here that this is the way it happens.
Yeah.
I can call it PR. Nobody can stop me from saying, because I have read articles where people like Akash or anybody, great writer, has written about the ethics of Tata's, about how they've ensured that the profit of the company is utilized for social good, and to ensure that the family decided to have separate trust like the JRD Tata Trust or the Tata Trust and all, and how the profit goes to the trust. The trust is dynamic in its nature. I'm not doing public advertising for Tatas, but I'm just giving you as an example. And they have various, domain experts in them who bring a lot of authority, and they are working towards it. But a good corporate governance can be given by a trust also. They are showing that. But how do you and I know that? Because there is PR. Because somebody somewhere spoke about it. किसी ने तो कहानी बताई होगी ना.
Right.
तो हमको तभी सुनाई दिया. So if we are hearing it, and today we say no, this is PR, this is not CSR, I don't mind it. See, this old analogy that you can sugarcoat a medicine.
Yeah.
But the sugar should not be more than the medicine.
Right.
Problem यहाँ है. आप पैकेजिंग क्या कर रहे हो? वो मटेरियल क्वालिटी से बेहतर नहीं होना चाहिए. मटेरियल विल स्पीक फॉर इटसेल्फ.
Yeah.
And then nobody is stopping. And there are enormous examples in industries where you will find that there are positive PR stories. And I think it is a great weapon. I think it is a great force multiplier. Where if you are doing something really good, and if there is a way or a channel to disseminate that information to others so that others can replicate, why not use PR? Means in our company, we have a dedicated media team which looks at all the good projects happening in the country. They develop videos, they take the information forward, they send it to people, and we keep getting queries from people that, why not I? Why can't I do this? In some of the premium most organizations in the world, country have come together and said that why can't you do it for us? And how has that happened? Because you have reached out.
Right.
In today's world, ignoring PR may be disastrous, but do it for the right cause. Do it for the right reason. If PR is the reason, then there is a problem.
Okay.
But if PR is a tool to advance and to propagate what you have done good, why not? My question is that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is only PR. Well, if some companies have utilized that for PR advantage, as long as the spine and the ethos was good, I'm okay with it. But if some companies have utilized, I have no way to ensuring it. And I'm only being speculative. If some companies have done something only for X and they have done a PR of 10X, well, then the stakeholders should ask the right questions, and I'm sure at some point of time they will be put to books. That's it.
हिंदी में एक वर्ड है खाना पूर्ति, एंड तो होता ये कि इम्पैक्ट है ना, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट इम्पैक्ट कि क्या हुआ है, सो जनरली जो नॉर्मल परसेप्शन है, पीपल थिंक लाइक दिस इज दी दे आर मेंडेड टू डू दिस काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग, सो दैट इज व्हाई दे आर डूइंग इट, एंड दे आर जस्ट पुटिंग आउट द नंबर्स, दे आर नॉट लुकिंग और दे आर जस्ट चेजिंग आउट द इम्पैक्ट थिंग. सो व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन इट?
This is a very good question. And actually, thank you for asking it. Because what we have seen over the last 20 years is people have diluted, in CSR I'm talking about, people have diluted the understanding of a project being completed and impact being achieved. And I think this is somewhere we have a very clear definition. And it is very simple, Akash. It is very simple. मतलब ये कोई complication नहीं है. It is very simple. And I'll give you an example to, make you understand how simple it is. So, project completion is a milestone. And impact is a destination. So, for example, it's monsoon and you want to travel somewhere with your friends. You pick up your vehicles and you want to go somewhere on a weekend. I think there are a couple of long weekends coming nearby, so you want to drive somewhere and go everything. Fair enough. Say for example you want to go to Shimla, right? So you have to go from here to Kalka, and then from Kalka the hill starts and you want to go to Shimla. Kalka can be, if you want to reach Shimla, which is you want to create impact, like you want better education, you want enhanced income in households, you want enhanced health access, then if that is the Shimla for you, then Kalka is a milestone. Now what is Kalka supposed to be? For example, if you want to bring in better education, as a company I would invest money in building schools. But is building schools impact? No. It is a milestone.
Yeah.
You have to cross that milestone in order to ensure the future ahead. Now, let me give you an example. So, whenever people, because I have seen people getting confused with it. The last 10-15 years, what I have observed personally is corporations have always, and even as you and I are speaking, aaj bhi ye hai, corporations are focusing more on two things: input and output.
Okay.
Right. So, if you ask me, Akash represents Corporation A. Akash says, I need to build 100 toilets under an integrated village development plan. I've adopted a village or a tehsil or a block, and I want to build 100 toilets. Okay. Agreed. Good enough. Fair enough. You give the money, you spend 2 crore rupees on building. I'm just hypothetically saying you spend 2-3 crore rupees on building 100 toilets. Output is 100 toilets are built. And you have been transparent under the mission, you have achieved it. 99% of the industry is satisfied as CSR. And here it ends. 100 toilet बनाने थे, 100 toilet बना दिए. Right?
वाटर सप्लाई है नहीं, किसी ने देखा नहीं.
अब आप 6 महीने बाद उन 100 टॉयलेट्स के ऊपर मॉनिटरिंग विजिट करने गए. तो आपको पता चला कि 60 टॉयलेट में तो पानी का पाइप लाइन कट गया है, तो पानी का पाइपलाइन तो आ ही नहीं रहा है, तो पानी सप्लाई है ही नहीं। तो वॉल्यूमेट्रिक एफिशिएंसी देख के, पॉपुलेशन रेशियो देख के आपने 100 टॉयलेट बनाए, प्लस आपने बिहेवियरियल चेंज के ऊपर तो काम किया ही नहीं। भाई 100 साल से उस गांव के लोग ओपन में डिफिकेट कर रहे हैं, तो बिहेवियरियल चेंज के लिए आपने कोई एडेप्टेशन तो करवाया नहीं। कोई आप फिल्म दिखाएं भाई कि इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ नॉट डिफिकेटिंग इन पब्लिक, इन सॉर्ट ऑफ आउटसाइड, एंड व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम, how many infections women can save themselves, law and order issues, right? And how do you, वो सब आपने किया नहीं। आपका मिशन था इनपुट 3 करोड़ रुपीज, आउटपुट 100 टॉयलेट्स, मिशन अचीव्ड। यहां लोग बैक ट्रैक हो गए। एक्चुअल कहानी शुरू होती है इसके बाद। इसीलिए इसकी ये इनपुट आउटपुट ठीक है, ये जरूरी है, लेकिन जो 2 टर्म डिफाइन करता है वो है आउटकम एंड इम्पैक्ट। अब मैं बताता हूं इसको कैसे डिफाइन करना है। अब आपने 3 करोड़ रुपए लगाए, तो इनपुट तो पूरा हो गया, 100 टॉयलेट बनाने थे आपने पूरे कर दिए। अब आप 6 महीने बाद गए, आपको पता चला 60 टॉयलेट तो चल ही नहीं रहे, पीपल आर नॉट यूजिंग इट, इट इज जस्ट लाइंग डाउन। सो यू अंडरस्टैंड द आउटकम इज दैट ओनली 40% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन इज यूजिंग द टॉयलेट्स, बट द 60% ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन इज स्टिल गोइंग आउट फॉर ओपन डिफिकेशन। लेकिन सरकारी कागजों में आपका गांव ओडीएफ हो गया, आउटसाइड डिफिकेशन फ्री हो गया, तो डेटा तो आपको मिल गया। आपका एआई आपको बता देगा कि फलाना विलेज इज आउट नाउ फुली, उनके टॉयलेट्स कंस्ट्रक्ट हो गए, दे आर आउटसाइड डिफिकेशन फ्री हो गया कहानी। अब आप इम्पैक्ट करने जाओगे, अब बोलोगे बॉस ये तो सही नहीं है, ये तो कहानी बनी नहीं हमारी। अब आप क्या करोगे? अब इसके ऊपर अब आपको काम करना पड़ेगा। नाउ व्हाट यू विल हैव टू डू, नाउ यू विल हैव टू मेक इट श्योर कि आप 100% एफिशिएंसी कैसे अचीव करो। तो अब आपको नेक्स्ट फेज ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट क्या करना पड़ेगा? वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन, वाटर फैसिलिटी देनी पड़ेगी।
तो ये सब करने के लिए इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट करना पड़ेगा।
आप 6 महीने बाद नहीं आओगे इम्पैक्ट देखने, तो आपके लिए तो आपके तो हो गया ना, आपके तो किताबों में आ गया ना, 100% अचीवमेंट हो गया। पर क्या हुआ 100%? नहीं हुआ। तो एक होता है, जब तक भ्रांति तभी तक बनी रहेगी जब तक क्रांति नहीं आएगी। सो यू विल हैव टू फिगर आउट कि रियल असेसमेंट क्या है और फेल्ट असेसमेंट क्या है। फेल्ट असेसमेंट ये है कि मैंने अपनी टीम को बोला कि भाई ये 3 करोड़ रुपीज इज अंडर द CSR टीम, मुझे बोर्ड में रिपोर्ट प्रेजेंट करना है, आप 100 टॉयलेट फलाने तहसील में बना दो। कंस्ट्रक्शन टेंडरिंग सब हुआ, लॉजिकली एथिकली एवरीथिंग इज राइट, गए और उन्होंने बना दिया। कोई गया ही नहीं बाद में देखने की उनका हुआ क्या। अब 1 साल बाद आप जाओ तो पता चले गांव के लोग फिर भी आउटसाइड डेफिकेशन कर रहे हैं।
एक चीज मैं रोक रहा हूँ, ये इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट करता कौन है? हु इज द रिस्पांसिबल पर्सन फॉर इट?
सो आइडियली अकॉर्डिंग टू द गवर्नमेंट the impact assessment should be done by a third party neutral consultant who's not involved in the project execution process. It's like a principle of
and who will hire or
yeah, so organizations like us, organizations like us or any consulting organization which has not been an integral part of the execution of the process, ताकि आप उसके neutrality और authenticity पे question नहीं कर
biased ना हो पाए।
It's like a neutral audit. So ideally what you say, your accounts team cannot do your audit.
राइट,
ये है ना कहानी।
राइट,
योर अकाउंट्स टीम शुड नॉट डू योर ऑडिट। ठीक है, आपके बोर्ड के पेपर आपके क्लास टीचर क्यों नहीं चेक करते? दिस इज अ लॉजिकल क्वेश्चन।
राइट।
आप बाहर के इन्विजिलेटर्स बुलाते हो टू मेंटेन ऑथेंटिसिटी एंड न्यूट्रलिटी, तो यू शुड हायर कंसल्टिंग। हम बैठे ना करने के लिए, हम जैसे और भी हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो करते हैं ये असेसमेंट्स, एंड वी हैव एल्गोरिथम्स थ्रू व्हिच वी कम टू नो।
बट एक इसमें ये भी है, फॉर एग्जांपल प्रोजेक्ट वहाँ डिलीवर्ड हो गया एज पर द पेपर, ठीक है, क्या है? सो हु विल कॉल यू, द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और द गवर्नमेंट?
सो नाउ द गवर्नमेंट हैज अ मैंडेट,
ओके,
एंड द गवर्नमेंट हैज अ मैंडेट कि एक्स अमाउंट जब आपके प्रोजेक्ट का अगर लग गया,
ओके,
1 करोड़ का, तो आपको उस प्रोजेक्ट का इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट कराना अनिवार्य है। इट इज मैंडेट दैट यू विल हैव टू गेट द इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट डन एंड यू हैव टू पब्लिश दैट रिपोर्ट ऑन योर वेबसाइट।
ओके,
लेकिन जो प्रोजेक्ट्स 1 करोड़ के बिलो हैं, नैतिक तौर पे on the question of the morality and the authenticity, I have seen organizations getting their project assessed. Because why? I'll tell you. Nobody wants CSR money, no sane or a good governed company wants its CSR money to go in waste. ये clear है.
It's a hard-earned money.
It's somebody's money going in, right?
Yeah.
It's a shareholder's money going in.
Yeah.
Tomorrow the shareholder is going to get up and say, what did you do with my money?
Yeah.
If you say, no, I have constructed 100 toilets, but क्या मजाक कर रहे हैं sir? 60% of that village I went and I saw they are still defecating in open.
Yeah.
So you don't make a difference. So वहाँ पे क्या problem आती है? Neutral authorities will come and say that, boss, you did a great project, you did your part, but your output was achieved. Your outcome hasn't been achieved. But how do you come to know that your outcome has not been achieved if you don't do an impact assessment exercise?
Right.
So the assessment exercise tells you that you started with this outcome in mind, but due to certain factors, the outcome has not been achieved. Now what it does is, it also creates an understanding that what needs to be done now in order to achieve the outcome with which we started. So water connection is the next project for the same company in the same tehsil for all the 100 toilets, so that it resolves the issue of the water scarcity. And then you build awareness campaigns in that block and tehsil with the local administration to create awareness that this is how you can utilize these toilets to its fullest and overlay. I'll give you one more example. How impact is assessed.
Right.
So I call it a IOI concept. So you want to build schools, classes. So input. I'll give you a straight mathematical answer. Yeah. I think everyone will understand this. For our audience, I'll tell you. Input is whatever the company wants to input. Money, people, time. हमको 100 classrooms बनाने हैं. आपने 100 classrooms बना दिए? हो गया. Now output. 100 classrooms बन गए. Output, outcome. Because of this 100 classrooms, students have now started spending more time in the class. Or for skill centers, women have started getting trained on vocational courses. For farmers, if you do a project, they have started adapting climate resilient agricultural modern technique methods. What is the impact? After a couple of years, you go back and revisit your project and you see, because of the input, output and the outcome, now the average score of the children of that area has gone high. Income generation has doubled in household. Health access because of income generation has gone up. Farmers have now got enhanced income because of adaptation to newer technology. If you are able to understand this, input, output, outcome, impact strategy, you are sorted. And that is why without any impact, so CSR tells you how much money and where did you spend.
Okay.
Impact assessment tells you whether that money achieved any meaningful change.
Okay.
That's it. So without impact assessment, you are as good as writing your board exams without any result.
It's a kind of a reality check.
Absolutely. And it's based on a lot of factors. It is based on foot on the ground. It cannot be automated. You have to put your foot on the ground. You have to see what change is brought about in the lives of the people who you wanted to benefit. And sometimes you will achieve the results. Sometimes if you don't achieve the results, you know what else needs to be done in order to achieve the initial results that you kept in your mind with.
And let's just suppose कि project उस पे effort पूरा लगा but still not achieved जो outcome चाहिए था. So उसके आगे क्या process होता है?
You reinvent yourself. So what we do sometimes, what we do in our organization is we follow the result-based matrix.
Okay.
So in a result-based matrix, what normally happens is, इससे पहले LFA use होता था, logical framework, which is like you can apply it in your normal life.
Okay.
लोग अपने married life में भी logical framework use कर सकते हैं.
Okay.
You can have a logical framework where the main criteria is risk. Right. I think the greatest and the only single LFA that if you get it right in life, your life is sorted is marriage. Selection of your partner, life partner. If that is right, I think everyone in the room will agree, then your life is sorted. If that goes wrong, your LFA is all over the place.
Yeah.
But again, coming back to the topic, I think we used to do a LFA process. It's a logical framework approach where you write activities and objectives and what it will do. And you also take care of some risk factors. That if this risk comes, what is the mitigation strategy? We have taken it a step forward. We now work on result-based metrics. So what happens? We divide the project into micro phases. Each phase, whatever designs we incorporate, and a lot of other organizations are also doing the same thing. So each phase of a large project is first divided into micro phases. Each phase has got a deliverable. Each phase has got an outcome. Input, output and outcome. Because impact is a long term. So I'm saying input, output and outcome. ये तीनों हर एक फेज में डिसाइड कर लेते हैं. By the time you come to realize the outcome is either left or right of what you wanted to achieve, your next phase adjusts for that additional contribution or that additional movement. For example, I wanted to make 100 schools. But what happened is the weather was inclement. I wanted to complete, the timeline was 6 months.
Okay.
The weather was inclement. These days you're seeing, the weather is all over the place, right? So, and I could not construct. So you know that in the in the first 6 months, we could only achieve 50%. So the next 50% has to be achieved in the next 3 months. So what do we need to do? We need to enhance contractor participation. We have to enhance vendor participation. We have to supply more funds, maintain an aggressive growth so that by the next 3 months, we are able to achieve our 100 by enhancing the speed. It's like running a company. You set the outcome in mind, then you go reverse, then you set up micro phases. Each phase has got its own result, and the matrix of the implementation of the next phase depends upon the result achieved in the first phase. So what happens by the end of the project, you are nearly close to the central line. Rather than realizing that from the initial level only you deviated and you came so far in the project that it's very difficult to bring you back to the central objective or the central outcome of the project. तो अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो भी जाए तो इतने छोटे छोटे खंडों में हमने प्रोजेक्ट को बांट लिया कि फर्स्ट फेज में जो भी गलती हुई या जो भी सम फोर्सेस आर बियॉन्ड आवर कंट्रोल, राइट, अगर उनसे कुछ हुआ तो नेक्स्ट फेज में ही उसको करेक्ट कर दिया. सो वी आर ओनली वन फेज अवे फ्रॉम परफेक्शन rather than trying to, like a textbook mechanism, go to the end of the project and realize, boss, you've done something massively wrong, right? So in that case, then, for example, toilet construction. आप टॉयलेट बना रहे हो, पर साथ ही साथ आप अवेयरनेस कैंपेन शुरू कर दिया आपने, so that by the time your 100 toilets are ready, you have already worked on behavioral change of the population, because now they are also mentally ready to stop that habit of decades and come back to what you want. And if that triangulation happens with community participation, administrative participation, and the corporate participation, I think you'll reach the outcome as near to the timeline as predicted, which will result in a long-term positive impact. That's how it is. So, अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो भी जाए, under this RBM framework which we use, it's very difficult to deviate too much away. We can bring it back within time.
There are few words actually you mentioned, metrics, data, all this. And when you talk about these, so एक word आता है AI. So how this is
खतरनाक word.
और ये कैसे helpful है ये अपने लिए? How it is helpful for the data assessment or the impact assessment and all of the factors, कैसे हो सकता है?
See, आकाश, दो चीजें. एक तो generally I think we have to get out of this FOMO of AI. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हर किसी को ये लगता है कि अगर आज if you are not doing something in AI, we are losing out. So first we'll have to get out of this.
Okay.
ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है. There's a lot of good work happening without AI even today. Okay. Is AI an option? No, you have to.
So it's mandatory.
It is not mandatory, but in our organization, in our sector specifically, let's see, we used to gather a lot of data on the ground.
Okay.
People like me and you would go on the ground and gather a lot of data. We will write the questionnaires.
FGD kind of a thing.
We'll do FGDs and we'll write questionnaires. We'll take thumb impression or signatures. We'll go in communities, figure out how did the project do. आपको ज़रूरत किस चीज़ की है? अच्छा, did the project really help you? Do you think if you do this? And then we used to prepare long reports. That data used to come to us. We used to spend hours and days and months in order to clean the data because a lot of that data is raw. So we used to clean the data. Transcripts on paper would be transferred to digital platforms, then you clean the data, then you come out. So any standard exercise would take about 3 to 4 months to happen. All this can happen with AI in matter of hours. In matter of hours, right? But my question comes that as far as data assimilation, cleaning and digital detoxing of data and analysis of that data is done, it can be done by AI. But can artificial intelligence conduct a focus group discussion on the ground?
No.
It cannot. So for example, we have multiple AI platforms where if I upload a script, 2 people can do a podcast.
Yes.
Why is Akash and Soumitro sitting here? Why are we talking to each other? Why is Akash asking questions about CSR and I am answering you about questions about CSR? And this bonhomie, this warmth, this sense of inquiry and curiosity is what keeps humans alive. So artificial intelligence is a product of that curiosity. You have to understand it. It was built by humans. So as long as we are using, on the general side, as long as we are using artificial intelligence as a tool to optimize human capacity, I think it's a fair deal. And I don't think it's an option. I'm sorry, but I think people have to adapt to it. Today, tomorrow, day after, if you are thinking you can survive without AI, you don't even realize that the world around you, whatever you're doing, 60% is already governed by AI. Is already governed by AI. Even if we try to keep our eyes closed and say it's night. This is generally. But this is also important that I've seen a lot of organizations and especially budding entrepreneurs, and I want to warn them that they're getting into this so-called lingo of FOMO, fear of missing out. That we have to do something in AI. No, first figure out what is your core problem that you're solving. And in that course, what AI can actually do in order to optimize your capacity. So rather than trying to become a slave of AI and be completely dependent, deploy AI to be a tool for optimization for yourself. So generally, I think people who are adapting to the AI, today, frankly speaking, Akash, if you ask me, I think 60% of India's population is using AI like talking to a friend on ChatGPT. And AI has gone far off, way off, right? So there are 2 terms, art and craft. I keep telling to my team, and they're sitting here, they know what I'm talking about. So art and craft are 2 which we have learned. You can actually work with AI on the craft side. Craft, AI can help you. It saves time, you can do all of that. What happens to the art side? Creativity will not come because AI is only redeploying what is already existing, right? So you have created AI for smarter data availability so that you as a human can take decisions. If AI starts taking decisions for you, then you have a problem on deck, especially in our sector. Now let's come to social sector. The social sector is so intricately attached with human intelligence and the most important word, empathy, that you cannot have AI with empathy. You can never do that. You can never do that because you cannot program empathy. If I am sad, if I am happy, I don't know if AI ever is going to be able to replicate that.
It's very mechanical kind of a thing.
It's a completely automation based process, and you have to understand that it only redevelops what has been already put in it. So I was hearing somebody the other day and he says one of the major breakthroughs that will happen is radiological medicine. So you have the radiologists whose experience of 20 years, they would have looked at 10,000 scans of a brain and they would be able to identify with their experience what is problem in this scan. AI will actually do a better job than that. What? Because AI, you can input 1 million scans. And then it can refer and bring out a sort of a logic that this is the problem with the scan, and then a doctor can review it. For example, in our projects, we use AI for data assessments, data cleansing, and understanding where the data is coming from. But if I remove the human being sitting in front of the tool and using it, who is going to do the analysis? And then tell me, let me go back to the toilet example. I now know through AI that 60% of the toilets are not being used. Correct? But how will the AI now tell me what needs to be done without discussing with the community to get 100% utilization of the toilets? For that, you will have to have foot on the ground. For that, you will have to understand behavioral change. You will have to go into community analytics. You will have to do focus group discussion. Now tell me, if you have a community, if you have 20 women in a sort of orthodox community, will Akash or Soumitro be allowed to carry out a focus group discussion with 50 women in one room, specifically talking about menstrual hygiene? I don't think so it will happen. As far as my concern goes, For that, you will require a woman to go with a sort of local influence and relate with the woman to understand what kind of menstrual hygiene problems they are having and how the toilets or attending the Anganwadis or using sanitary pads or napkins, how does it resolve the issue? So I think that communication has to be logic based and empathy based. Logic AI can take care, but empathy and connectivity cannot come from AI.
Emotions
so in our sector, I'm very happy. If you ask me frankly, I'm very happy. Why? Because my writing time has reduced by 70%.
I'm just asking how AI is helping you or for the Fiinovation.
It saves time.
Okay.
It saves time.
Okay.
If it is saving time, then it brings down the cost. If it brings down the cost, we transfer that cost efficiency model to our clients. So they spend less on assessments and they spend more on the objectives on the ground.
Okay.
So it is helping us with more effective data understanding. So the positives are that now human perception cannot influence the data. See, there is something called real assessment and a felt assessment. मैंने 50 लोगों को टॉयलेट्स यूज करते हुए देखा या क्लासरूम में जाते हुए देखा, मुझे ऐसी फीलिंग आई दैट पीपल आर गोइंग. बट व्हाट इफ द स्कूल हैज 5000 स्टूडेंट्स and you've only seen 50 of them? So the relative picture changes, right? I think that is something that AI is doing phenomenally well. And I think we are at the positive receiving end of the positive AI influence in that. So tech is helping us collect, analyze, segregate, and put up the data as evidence in front of us. Humans are now doing taking better decisions based on better data, smarter data, and faster data.
Okay.
That's how it is helping us. So as an organization, being a research organization, I think technically we have been helped by AI a lot, and we are as it is growing, we are also trying to adapt. See, we are also not like the tech Caesars, right? So we are also adapting to it. We are also learning. But every day as we are learning, we are also realizing that the way forward is a sort of a collaboration between human and tech. Right? And I was reading an article somewhere where a very interesting industrial metaphor came in that so many layoffs are happening. Right? I don't agree, but the reason that is given is that AI is taking most of the jobs. Right? Chalo. Let me go with that statement. I don't agree, but don't ask me about the personal viewpoint. That off the podcast I can discuss with you. But I think if AI is taking all these jobs, then tomorrow AI has been implemented for efficiency in production. Right? Like AI does not have hourly limitations and the labor laws don't apply to AI. So let me say you could, Akash and Soumitro or Rohit or anybody would have made 2 cars in a day. एक फैक्ट्री का आप शॉप फ्लोर का इमेजिनेशन रखो अपने दिमाग में. 2 cars in a day. अब मैंने ह्यूमनॉइड्स लगा दिया, रोबोट्स लगा दिए, पूरा ऑटोमेट कर दिया, AI एनेबल कर दिया. Now they are making 20 cars in a day. Efficiency goes up by 100x. Good, fair enough, done. I'm satisfied. At the same time, 25,000 people have been laid off from various companies who don't have salaries now, who are not skilled enough to immediately shift to a new job because the space is getting more and more tighter, right? So what happens now? So these people who have been laid off were your potential consumers. Now you have overproduction, but at the same time, you have lesser consumers.
Okay.
So if we keep laying off people like this and keep producing more, you are going to have one day very soon where you have oversupply and diminished demand.
Correct.
What is going to happen ultimately? So you want the economy to also keep moving. My thought is that AI is not the only reason for layoffs.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cost cutting which has been done and AI has been used as a sort of a benchmark for that. But I think companies have to also rework the way they have been working so that their scores remain high. And we have to look at, companies will have to now invest in redeployment, training their teams, themselves getting trained. I'm getting trained on AI. I consider myself to be a student of this subject, and we can move ahead from there. Why lay off? So ultimately, that was just the story. But in our sector, I think I'm very happy with artificial intelligence and its story forward.
मेरा जो मेन ये कंसर्न है या एक फियर है दैट अगर ये इतना बजट है सो इसका मिसयूज ना हो. फॉर एग्जांपल एक इंडस्ट्री की तरह ग्रो करेगा एंड देन फिर वो एक नॉर्मली एक रोबोटिक काइंड ऑफ अ मेथड हो जाएगा. सो व्हाट्स द काउंटर ऑफ इट?
Put in measures which are measurable. The government, I think, is putting certain mandates in order to make companies accountable for the money they are spending. कोई loophole नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. See, there are two things. You have law and then you have law enforcement, right? I think a lot of penalties have been put on companies. That is law enforcement. Establishment of the law itself has brought in something. See, you have a red light and everyone knows you don't have to jump red lights. If you jump a red light, chances are you will be fined or you will meet with an accident. यही दोनों options हैं. Have we been able to stop 100% people from jumping red lights? No, we haven't.
No.
So, let's not stay in a world where we are expecting heaven to come. But let's build measures that the damage is minimal.
Okay.
So, I think with little bit of knowledge that I have in the sector, I know there are misdoings. I know as an industry insider, I know there are misdoings. But I think it is relatively very less compared to the positive effect that it is bringing. I still feel that. Day after tomorrow, what is going to happen? I don't know. Today, as I speak, I have relative amount of experience in the sector to say that. And because we have worked with 500 plus corporations in our portfolio. And the question that comes is, I have hardly seen people mentioning questions which are non-ethical, mentioning statements which are non-accountable. I think people have been asking questions pertaining to the efficacy of the project. In fact, when selection of partners to implement the project on the ground are done, they check every bit of credibility that goes on. They push us, like a project management company like ours, we maintain monthly visits, we maintain quarterly visits, we maintain dashboards, we give them reports. So I think considerable amount of checks and balances are there. But is it 100%? I don't think so.
No, why I'm asking is, I was actually reading about it. It is called ESG.
Oh yes, the great twins.
So why I'm asking about the counter of the CSR, because you have mentioned about the budgets and it will become like an industry. It has actually. So I think how you are looking this ESG thing.
See, ESG and CSR are two different things. You have to first understand that.
Okay.
And I'll give you a reason why people are getting confused with it. CSR is what you do for the society outside your walls.
Okay.
Corporate social responsibility, I think you would have had an overdose in the last two podcasts.
Yeah.
Corporate social responsibility. Okay.
Yeah.
So you know it, right? It is what the company does for the society. Simple terms.
Right.
अब आते हैं ESG पे. ESG is environmental social governance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in very simplistic way that you can understand it. CSR is what you do with people, time, money for the society outside your company.
Okay.
ESG has got three components: environment, social, governance. Environment means in your business process, are you taking care of your waste? Are you taking care of low carbon emissions? Are you a sort of a environmental conscience centric company? Are you taking care of the environment while operating your business in your day-to-day operations of your business? Social is, are you taking care of your employees?
Okay.
Is the gender diversity taken care of? Are the HR policies ethical? This is social. Are you taking care of your customers? Are you taking care of your vendors? All stakeholders. And governance is, are your board meetings happening transparently? Are your reports filed on time? Are you filing taxes on time? Are you ethical? Is your non-bribery policy, ethical policy in place? So your governance related issues. So मैं इसको थोड़ा सा हिंदी में बताता हूँ. घर के दीवार के बाहर क्या करते हो अच्छा काम सोसाइटी के लिए, वो CSR है. घर के अंदर घर चलाते कैसे हो, ये ESG है. अब इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? द प्रॉब्लम दैट पीपल गेट अंडरस्टैंडिंग इन द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ ESG एंड CSR, ये दोनों जो टीम्स हैं, ESG टीम्स एंड CSR टीम्स, ये एक ही होती है.
ये एक ही होती है
90% ऑफ द टाइम्स ये टीम्स एक ही होती है. इनकी एडिशनल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज होती है.
इनकी जरूरत क्या पड़ी थी ESG की?
ESG के बगैर तो कंपनी एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करेगा ना. सी यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस.
ओके.
सो ESG इज नॉट अबाउट CSR at all. It is about how you are managing your own operations. During your operations of your own company, are they environmentally sustainable? Are you taking care of the environment? Are you taking care of all your stakeholders, of employees, to board members, to shareholders, to vendors, to partners, everybody? And fourth, are your governance policies in place or not? So CSR can be a part of the ESG,
right?
But it is not ESG. It is a completely different domain, right? So CSR is what you're doing for the society. A part of that society is your workforce, your vendors, your partners, environment, everything. So CSR can be a part of ESG, but CSR is what you do outside your business operations for the society. उसमें कोई derivative नहीं है business में. There is no direct derivative from it for the business. But ESG is about how you are running the operations of your company, and while doing the operations, are you taking care of your social paradigm, your environmental paradigm, and your governance paradigm? So now the confusion that comes is usually what companies do. The typical boardroom discussion. If you see any typical, most of the times, if you see annual board report presented to the board, you will see last 3 pages में CSR और फिर ESG, या फिर ESG और उसके बाद CSR रिपोर्ट. दोनों अलग रिपोर्ट्स हैं, बट दोनों है एक साथ, मतलब 1-2 पेज में आगे पीछे. तो लोगों को आधा कंफ्यूजन, पीपल आर गेटिंग कंफ्यूज्ड कि यार देयर इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग कोरिलेशन बिटवीन ESG एंड CSR. The other point of confusion is usually what happens in organizations that we have worked with, and we worked with good 500 plus organizations, we have seen that ESG teams take care of CSR or CSR teams take care of ESG, which is okay. But because the team is same, there seems to be an overlap. There isn't, but there seems to be a perception of overlap. Okay. And the third is, which is the most important, both talk of social impact and sustainability. So when you're running, if you're taking care of the environment and doing plantation of trees or ABC projects on the ground, in CSR, you're still taking care of environmental sustainability. And in your operations, for example, if you're a paint factory and you're taking care of your discharge, you're taking care of your waste, you're ensuring the water is not getting out to the rivers, and you're treating it and reusing it in your own system, you're sustainable by your practice also. So both घर में भी आप practice कर रहे हो in your operations, and outside also you're taking care of environmental sustainability. So होता क्या है that you tend to talk about sustainability and social impact in both the places. People get confused. It's the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
One is in-house, one is out-house. That's the only principle.
But why ESG is in talk?
Okay. Let's assume that I deploy 2 crore rupees for a woman empowerment project. The deployment of the money is basically for opening a skill center where women of the area will come and will be trained on a certain skill set, and they will be placed, and they will have household income will increase, and they will have. I do my project phenomenally well. And I achieve my goals. I achieve my impact. Okay? Good CSR. Now let me come on the other side, inside. My policies are women discriminatory. Maternity leaves are not available. Workplace is not woman friendly. Pay structures are not at parity in all the genders. So I'm doing good CSR, but I'm doing bad ESG. Now let me flip the example. I'm doing CSR good. Let that part remain same. But I'm taking care of the women workforce in my organization. I have strong code of conduct. I have gender parity. I have pay parity. There is no discrimination between hours of working and salaries or remuneration or perks between women and men. And it's the same. Both are treated equal. Now I'm good ESG with good CSR.
And ESG भी जो audit होता है वो third party से होता है?
होता है. ESG audit is something that we do. It should be done. So companies like us go in the company, we figure out all the documents, we check out, we talk to people, we take data, we figure out what is happening, we realize then ESG reports are published separately, CSR reports are published separately. Therefore, in any board report, both the reports are separate, but they'll be near to each other.
Okay.
क्यों? क्योंकि वो जो टीम मांगा है ना, वो usually एक ही टीम होता है जो दोनों तरफ काम करता है. So CSR is a part of ESG. The vice versa is not true.
We are talking about ESG. अब now let's just focus थोड़ा डिफरेंट करते हैं. ऑफिस स्पेस के बारे में बात करते हैं, वर्किंग स्पेस की बात करते हैं, एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कैसे होता है. सो इट्स बीन लाइक 2 decades फॉर यू फिनोवेशन में, एंड यू हैव लाइक काइंड ऑफ 2 जनरेशन के साथ आपने काम किया हुआ है, काइंड ऑफ.
दो ज्यादा 2.5-3 जनरेशन हो गया होगा.
सो क्या डिफरेंस लगता है अर्ली स्टेज में जब लोग आते हैं, या कैसा लगता है जो पुराने लोग?
हम खुद बदल गए हैं.
ओके,
जनरेशन तो बदलेगा ही, हम खुद बदल गए हैं. आई थिंक the only tech when we started was mobile phone. Now you see how much tech we are using.
अच्छा, अगर हम लोग सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी साइड कर दें, नेचर वाइज या वो एटीट्यूड वाइज, उसमें क्या चेंजेस?
The outside context has changed a bit. हमेशा हमको एक चीज लगता है कि the next generation is foolish and doesn't know what to do. The earlier generation is overprotective. ऐसा नहीं है. We are not the best of the people all over. Okay? The next generation is smarter. The next generation is quicker. They are faster. You can say they have technology. Yes, they have. Every next generation will have better tech and better communication.
Or so, empathy wise?
This is personal. All personal, I'm telling you. I think spending time with a book, with your own ones, with your friends, with your subordinates, with your colleagues has reduced. I think empathy needs a bit of time. If I can reach out to my team, and sometimes I can reach out to Akash and say, Akash, is everything okay? You know, I don't want to see your Instagram reels. Like, I'm not on Instagram. I'm not anywhere on social media, right? My team keeps fighting with that. Yes, sir, this has to be done. And I completely, by authority, I say, no, I will not be. Because I want to talk to you. I want to talk to my team. I want to reach out to Akash and say, hello, Akash, how is everything? Is everything okay? And a couple of times, if Akash has a problem, he'll reach out to me and say, no, it's not. This is the problem. And then I can work with you. I think what has happened is, there are so many filters that people put, especially in this generation, that the line between what is reality and what is shown is becoming very blurred. So we are getting into that zone where we have started evaluating ourselves depending upon what Akash is doing. So if Akash is putting up an image of a great holiday in Switzerland, however fake it is, I start, in spite of having the best of the family, the best of the workplace, and doing good in my life, I still feel that I don't have enough. I think that sense of having less, was less in the 2000s. And before that, that has really multiplied in a large way. And I think we have to start getting out of it, realizing that whatever you call almighty energy, spirit, I'm not getting into that, but if you look around and stop wasting time on what others are doing and focus inside of what you can do and what you can change, I think it will be more effective. This is one change that I really miss to a certain extent in the current generation, which at our times used to be more focused about. Because I also agree, because उस समय Instagram था ही नहीं, उस समय ये सब इन्फॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेटफॉर्म था ही नहीं, तो मुझे शायद पता ही नहीं लगता कि आकाश स्विट्जरलैंड में है. वो तो हार्ड कॉपी फोटोग्राफ से पता चलता 6 महीने बाद जब हम मिलते, वरना आकाश वॉज इन हिज ओन वर्ल्ड एंड आई वॉज इन माई ओन वर्ल्ड. बट नाउ बिकॉज इंस्टेंटली आई कैन पुट अप अ फोटोग्राफ सिटिंग हियर, आई कैन शो यू इन AI. तो आजकल सब कुछ कर देगा. आई कैन मेक इट लुक लाइक ग्लेशियर एक्सप्रेस में बैठा हूं मैं, एंड आई कैन मेक यू फील दैट यू आर मिसिंग आउट. सो आई थिंक द न्यू जनरेशन हैज टू, माई एडवाइस इज be patient, work hard. AI is going to make your job more hard, so work hard, be smart, don't give out the edge that you have, be vocal, be stubborn about the good ideas you have, but be adaptive towards the not so good ones also. Listen to people. I think we have stopped listening to people. I think that's one thing that I've seen generationally.
इसमें ही मैं एक ऐड करता हूँ, लाइक अर्ली स्टेज में जो आपने शुरू किया होगा, तो जैसे नीड असेसमेंट हो गए या FGD के लिए लोग जाते थे, मेरा ये पर्सनल टेक है कि अब वो बात नहीं करते हैं, है ना. एंड सिमिलरली जो आप बात कर रहे हो, दे आर इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय दिस इंस्टाग्राम एंड ऑल दिस पिक्स एंड ऑल दैट. एक चीज़ और भी होता है ना, लाइक कि गाँव में इट साउंड्स अनकूल काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग, दे सेड व्हाई वी आर हियर. पहले कहीं भी जाते थे, बैठ जाते थे, यू नो. सो क्या अब की जनरेशन में ऐसा देखने को मिल रहा है दैट दे आर लाइक काफ़ी ज़्यादा चूजी हो गए हैं, व्हाई वी आर गोइंग टू दिस प्लेस एंड समथिंग लाइक दैट. इन अगर बात करें CSR सेक्टर में अगर कोई काम
नहीं, आई डोंट थिंक सो. आई डोंट थिंक सो. आई माई एक्सपीरियंस इज नो. आई थिंक every generation has this issue, but I think it is neutral to this generation also. I have seen great youngsters, crazy youngsters, crazy good youngsters. They are inspiration for me. I think the way they can sometimes communicate with people, and I think with the advent of technology, with mobile phones and all, the barriers have been bridged. Let me give you a counter intuitive position to what you said. Pehle, when we used to go to ground,
right,
20-25 years back, when we used to go on the ground, they would be susceptible about your objectives of coming and doing an assessment. Why have you come? Why do you want to know? What is our problem? Are you going to exploit us? Are you here to take our land? Are you doing a campaign for any industry to know what kind of land we have? Is your industry looking towards that? People had perceptions. People still have perceptions. But now they're informed. Mobile phone has reached hook and corner of this country today. So when now these teams go, they know about why you have come. Acha, they know what work you do. They're also seeing what good work is happening across the country. So why, for example, let me tell you a simple example. Pond rejuvenation. Basic. मनरेगा में, जो अभी जीराम जी है आपका, मनरेगा में pond cutting was one of the basic functions of a village where people would get employed. Correct. So a lot of rainwater projects, harvesting projects happened during that pond cutting mechanism. So pond cutting is basically, pond rejuvenation is water recharge. You store water and utilize it for your usage. People would be very susceptible 20 years back when you go and do a land survey that, should we do a pond rejuvenation here? People would be like, why do you want to do it? Do you want to occupy this land? You have to get clearances. The district administration would be very resistive. But now what happens is, if I am the sarpanch of that area and a team comes and tells me this and says that as an industry, as a company, we have done 150 pond rejuvenations in these areas, and you can see the videos, you can show it on the phone and say, look at what has happened in the impact. Listen to these villagers. You want to talk to this sarpanch in Gujarat? And I am in Maharashtra somewhere. I am making him talk to the sarpanch in Gujarat and saying, भाई आपके विलेज में क्या हुआ इस पॉन्ड की वजह से, एंड ही इज सेइंग एंड दे आर टॉकिंग ऑन व्हाट्सएप एंड शोइंग द वीडियो. आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग यू थ्रू अ थिएट्रिकल एक्सपोजर. नाउ द सरपंच इज लाइक, लेट मी आल्सो हैव इट हियर. सो दैट apprehension has been cut down by technology to a great extent. So acceptability has increased. exceptions always occur, right? Industry also sometimes has malafide interests for all of this, but that occurs in every industry. Which industry doesn't have that? अगर अल्टीरियर मोटिव होगा आपका कुछ, अगर कुछ इरादे गलत हैं, तो people are now empowered enough to know their rights. And due to technology, what has happened, I'll tell you. Soumitro and Akash know their rights now. So if you cross the line, I know where the rights are. So, an uninformed generation with the help of technology and approach has now become an informed generation. Now, I go to take classes. A simple example there. I go to various institutions to take classes. मैं 15 साल पहले भी जाता था. जो मैं बोलता था, बोर्ड में जो मैं लिखता था, that used to be अथा सत्य.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was true. But now you know what? Everyone is sitting with iPads. Everyone is having internet. आप एक गलत डेटा का पॉइंट दे दो. You give one wrong data point and they'll be like, no sir, you're wrong. This is the data point that... So, अब क्लासेस लेने से पहले मुझे 3 times more prepare होना पड़ता है because the counter questions can come live. And they will question you. And they should. As a student, I think you should questions. And that is the real studentship that can happen. So I think as a generation, I think the change has happened quite a bit. But I'm extremely, extremely confident of the current generation. I think they are more powerful than us. I think they're more informed than us. I think the only place where they have to work is listening capacity. I think they're also becoming impatient. And that is where I hold the technology responsible. I am not getting nostalgic. ये कोई गुलजार का पोएम नहीं है कि मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि मैं अपने फादर को चिट्ठी लिखता था हॉस्टल से. And I used to put my emotions there. The email may not transfer the same emotion at a later. I'm not going into that side. ये बातें ठीक है. That's okay. वो हर एक को लगता है ना कि
right.
जैसे एक कॉमन एग्जांपल है कि our forefathers used to cross the river and go to the school. ये कहानी बेकार हो चुकी है. तो करंट जनरेशन बोलता है क्यों भाई? Use a boat. Why did you have to swim? मतलब ये कहानी. But हो सकता है वो उस समय की सच्चाई रही होगी. But my only concern is that look at what we have to do and we have to look at the future. Let us stop thinking about the past. The future is in very safe hands. The current generation is not the best, possible thing that I understand out of them. They don't think they're entitled. वो आपको इतना अकाउंट पे रखेगा. They will hold you to account so much that आप ये नहीं बोल सकते that you're entitled. You're entitled to nothing. You'll have to prove your worth. You'll have to show the body of proof, only then I'll do. इसमें there are some filter लगा के वो Instagram में image लगा दिया. But what percentile of generation? I think a lot of generation is really studying hard, working hard. भाई यही generation AI ले आया है ना. यही generation आगे भी ले जाएगा. No worries. I think generation has changed. It has always changed. With generations, I think change is the only permanent thing that will happen. And people will... This generation is by far the smartest generation that has ever survived on the earth. I can give you 10 guarantee. And they're phenomenal. Just trust them. Just hold their hands. And the old generation, rather than trying to prove them down, has to work with them and match their feet. So the older generation has to match feet because they're really racing ahead.
So you mentioned about this, ना? So ये एक चीज़ और भी एक सवाल है इस पे, ये कि 2-3 आपने बोला 2.5 जनरेशंस लगभग ना. तो
जनरेशन की एज भी तो कम हो रहा है ना.
हाँ ये भी. तो जो आप, अगर मैं आपको एज ए लीडर देखूँ, ये वर्कफोर्स जो पे चल रहा है आप, सो क्या लर्निंग क्या रही है आपकी, और उसमें क्वालिटी क्या होनी चाहिए? आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर कोई कर रहा है, मल्टी जनरेशन के साथ काम कर रहा है, या
लीडरशिप में क्या होनी चाहिए एज ए
लीडर? यस, क्वालिटीज क्या होनी चाहिए? बट विद द मल्टी जनरेशन, इट्स नॉट लाइक कि अभी यूथ के साथ काम कर रहे हैं. आई थिंक
फर्स्ट थिंग इज एडेप्टेबिलिटी रखना पड़ेगा आपको. यू कांट डिसमिस अ चेंज. You will have to be adaptive. Matlab, you'll have to hear people out. You'll have to listen to them. Just because you are 15 years younger to me, just shut up in the meeting does not work. I think as a leader, I have understood one thing very clearly, that if I am the smartest person in the room, then I am in the wrong room. Ye to fact hai. But I also think that as a leader, if you're able to build trust in whichever generation you're working in, and transient generations also, that the leader has a component of empathy and has the might to take a decision and has the strength to stay with that decision, but is also adaptive to change if need be, then I think you've done a great thing. For me, the learning evolution has been that 15 years back, I thought I must have all the answers. I am the best guy in the team. I have to be the best guy in the team. I now realize that it was a futile race. As a leader, every team member in the organization should be smarter than you. As a leader, every team member should have the trust in you that he or she will be heard and they will be taken care of. If you are able to build that trust. So basically, if I am able to build a team which can work for the organization, take the right decisions without depending on you, I've learned that is the best leadership possible.
So वर्कफोर्स हो गया, वर्क प्लेस हो गया, जो टीम मेंबर हैं उनके एटीट्यूड के बारे में बात किया, मल्टी जनरेशनल टीम मेंबर्स के बारे में बात हो गई. बट एज अ लीडर हाउ डू यू थिंक कि फीडबैक कितना जरूरी है इन बोथ वेज में?
So there are two ways. One is internal feedback. The other is external feedback. I think especially in this industry. So let me first talk about the external one, then I'll come to the internal one. So when we started, we were basically a program management company, right? So we were managing programs on the ground and all of that stuff happened and everything. But what happened after a period of time is the clients grew, and thankfully it grew. So it became a bit difficult for us to manage the communication side of the clients at a daily level, because then one had to do multitasking too much. Coming to feedback, we went to our clients back and we tried to talk to them. So we used to have this very interesting in 2010-11. We used to have these offsites with our clients.
Offsite with the client?
With the client. So we used to have one-day meetings with our clients. We would all meet at some place, maybe Chennai or somewhere, an offsite, with those clients from those areas. And we would have a workshop. We would do some capacity building exercise. But actually, frankly speaking, I didn't tell them, but those were actually feedback loops. So at very early stage of the company, first is I was fortunate to have a great team. At that point of time, my team was great. And some of them are now in the management of the company. So we started listening to our clients, and continuously a loop started coming in that, we are not updated regularly. At that time, there was no dashboard, no all of that stuff. So we used to have to send emails and all that stuff. So we said, and then we sat down, we said, how do we resolve this? And we thought, okay, why don't we think literally like out of the box? So we are in consulting industry, Akash. And you will still not hear that there is a communication team in any consulting industry or a consulting firm. You take the best of the firms, you will have all other practices, but you will not have a customer information and engagement team. So about 3.5-4 years down lane, when we started in 2008, we decided, okay, it started with an experiment. We appointed 3 people. And what we did is we set up a client communication cell. They would actually communicate with the clients on a regular basis, and their portfolio would only be to transfer the project information to the clients, so that the people who are working on the project are focused on the project, but this communication team is still relaying the information to the client.
So it's a kind of daily task, or what is it?
It's a kind of a daily task for them to update as the movement happens. So if your project has reached a certain stage, the information is given to the client and all this stuff. And what happened is the clients overwhelmingly, sort of accepted that because they never heard of it. They never thought that a consulting company can have a client engagement team. And today it is a full-fledged department. And 100% of our clients are communicated updates on a weekly, daily, as required basis by client specialist. And it is headed by one of our senior members, Anand, who heads that as the senior vice president of the company. And he manages that team fantastically well. So feedback, how important it is. If you would have not heard and taken the feedback as data at that time and changed the course of our action, we would be facing some other problems where we would be only able to address a certain set of clients rather than, addressing a large mass of clients which we are addressing today. That adaptability came only when you receive feedback and you accept feedback as information which you need to act upon. That is Then the second phase of the external feedback came upon that there's a limitation. How many people in the client engagement team can update how many clients? There is a volumetry. So what we did is we took assistance of technology. So we developed a sort of a MIS where every client has a dashboard of himself, of their organization. It is uniquely identified with a client ID. You're given a login ID password. And all your progress of your project is uploaded real time on the dashboard. That dashboard is accessible from your phone. It is optimized for your iPad, for your web, anywhere. The industry at large has never heard of it. And I'm still telling you, they don't have it even today. Except us, there is no company in our sector which operates with that. So we are earth shakers when it comes to this kind of adaptability. And the complete credit goes to the team because they are always on a lookout of how can we create easiness of doing work. This is the external feedback, right? Now we have started another fight. How do we incorporate AI in it?
So before talking about this, when you introduce these things, so how the other party have what was their reaction?
They were blown away.
Okay.
They were blown away. Even today, when we onboard clients, when they come and meet and they see how we function, they're blown away because we mechanized our way of work by innovating based on feedback. So my continuous point of consideration is, and I keep telling my leaders, keep listening to the clients. They will tell you the solutions, what they need. If you talk to the clients, some are always your cheap set of clients. Listen to them also, but don't act on it. That's ridiculous. But the clients that you need to listen to, talk to them, keep talking to them. They will give you solutions. Because they also are phenomenal. And if you listen to them, for example, they're like, I'm not getting, the feedback that we got was, I'm not getting information on a regular basis. Is it possible that you can do something where I can get information on a weekly basis? That was a feedback which we came back and the team sat down and said, why don't we set up the client engagement team? When the volume of clients increased, then the team started thinking, why don't we take technology? And because these are the same people who are ordering food on Swiggy, on Zomato, using Blinkit, using Amazon, why don't we create a MIS for them? And we invested on it. And even today, all our clients have got their own dashboards, which they can open at any point of the day and see at what stage the project is with all the details. So, transparency at this level is unheard of. Unheard of. And in our sector, we are the only ones doing it. We are the only ones doing it. I am saying it with authority today. You show me one company, maybe I don't know, but show me one company or institution which does it, which has taken it to that level. Do people still have grievances? They still have grievances. Now, we had a malware attack about 6 months back. Our MIS was down for 10 days. People said, why is the MIS down and everything? We said there was a malware attack. But it didn't stop us. Now we are thinking of bringing in AI. So our tech teams are now working. How do we incorporate AI? Because now we want to advance the experience. So I'll give you a simple example. Apple, is the company of the world, the most cash-rich company, but it doesn't make a single iPhone. It doesn't make a single phone. It does not own a single factory. It just creates the first model and invests itself on the experience that the consumer will have while having the phone. Their actual manufacturers are in China, India, Vietnam and everywhere else. But they don't own factories where they make phones. But they're still making. So when you walk into the store, what are you walking for? You're walking for an experience. But are there not critics of Apple? There are. There are critics of Apple. You go online and you see there are people saying that Apple is overcharging and they're overpricey for the same functions, and I can get a cheaper phone with better functions. But why is Apple still the most cash-rich company in the world? Because people are buying it, right? So you got to take a decision whether you want to become a low denominator mass company or you want to become a high denominator experience company. We have taken a decision, we'll be a high denominator experience company. So, and for that, our struggle is on innovation and using tech and human capacity to enhance the experience of the client. So that once you come on board, you feel, boss, these guys are will take care of me. Means our institution. They'll take care of it. Yes. Are we always successful? No, we are not. But 75 to 80% of the times we are. And is that a good average? 100% it's a good average. It's a brilliant average. We commit on those lines. We stand by those lines. So that's a feedback loop. And this feedback allowed us to innovate. So if you say, Soumitro, is it your brainchild to start this department, to bring this MIS dashboard? No, it was the team's brainchild, but the seed came from the feedback which we received from our clients. Right? That's how it was. You still find people going online and saying that, okay, they're not doing this, I'll not do this. You still have testimonials where companies come and say, phenomenal work. We work with some of the biggest and the best companies in the country. We work with some of the biggest and the best civil society organizations in the country. There are times when we have to correct ourselves. We are not always right? Not every phone that Apple manufactured was a hit. But did they give up? No. Will we give up? No. So we are always on a feedback loop. So I call it the cradle to cradle. So usually the concept is cradle to grave. So you bring up a service or a product, you then market it, you make it a product market fit, you take it to clients. After a point of time, it dies and then you come up with a new product. What we do is a cradle to cradle. You bring up a product, you market it, the product market fit, you give it to a client, service them for 3-4 years, take the feedback, start the next cradle from that service. So our service line never dies. So we are from cradle to cradle concept, we move on that. That is external feedback. So feedback is extremely important. And we have set up systems. This client engagement team. What does it do? It talks to clients. When I'm updating Akash as a client, the client is also telling me what they're liking about us and what they're not liking about us. Again. We take that feedback, we put it into the, and then the team sits together every quarter and says, can we work on this feedback? Then we ask the question, can we look at this? Can we look at that? You won't believe, I'm being transparent enough, but you and I are sitting here because of feedback of a stubborn media team of this organization. Right? I was not in favor. They said, no, we have to. That's the way it is. Adaptability.
Yeah.
They're how much? 2 generations younger to me?
Yeah.
And they were like, this is the way to move forward. Look at what they can do. So this is it. So I think adaptability and feedback is perhaps the most important thing for us. This is external. Internal, I think I meet every team head weekly once. At least weekly once. And I have only 3 things.
But why?
I'll tell you. And I have only 3 things to ask. Are you facing any problem?
Okay.
What are your achievements? And what are the solutions you figured out? Don't come to me as your problem solver. I have decided, although I decided long back, as one of the learnings of leadership is you have to delegate as much as possible with the trust that work hard. If something goes wrong, I am there behind you. But you have to trust your team. So I think you need to give up a lot of control and you have to delegate work and not be sort of a helicopter delegation, which is like, do this work this way and always keep hovering around them.
It's a kind of micromanagement. Kind
Correct.
Of,
So you don't do that. You sit with them. You tell the leader that I trust you. I know you will manage the team. If something goes wrong, I'm there. But this is now your responsibility. You will have to take charge of this fully. I authorize you with all administrative powers, all financial powers, and do everything. Right? And you go ahead and do it. Today, for example, I'm not a signatory in the bank accounts that I am holding on. My entire financial team takes care of it. Right? And we started from a 3-member company with a small office. Right? But what do? All the senior management people, we have a policy that we look at EBITDA margins every day, how we are doing, just to keep in sync with, where we are doing financially. That is another thing. So that's a monitoring check. But I always tell my senior leaders that I have put the trust in you. I have delegated you. I'll be only your lighthouse now. My beacon will be on. I'll give you direction. This way we have to go. How you have to go, who's your team, what is you decide. That is the internal feedback loop. You delegate and you take feedback. So people come back to me and say, sir, I'm facing this problem. So I said, okay, come with the solution. And you can ask my team members when I have completely stopped having meetings where I am solving their problems. Because I realized that these guys have smarter solutions than me. I don't tell them this. Now they will know after this podcast. But they have smarter solutions than me. And if I am able to make them believe that you had this talent, but you never realized it. I have done my job as a leader. Yeah. I have taken that feedback. I've given it back to them, and they have grown. That's it. I'm very satisfied, and I'm extremely satisfied. If I now have a problem that there are so many people in this organization who can replace me. One of the best problems to have in the organization is when the head of the organization has a lot of people who are competing in talent, competence, integrity and ownership, who can replace me. So I think through the feedback loop, as a leader, if I'm able to create a team which decisively takes decisions without deviating from the vision of the company and can deliver without any dependency on me, job well done. So feedback is that important for me as leadership.
And this is what you are looking if someone wants to join here.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody who wants to join this company has to come with an approach that we are not going to have sleep pods here. We are not going to have plush cafeterias here, food coupons here, cab pickups. Although we have a policy after 8 o'clock, if everyone stays, we have cab drops and everything. But if somebody wants to make first earn well, to have fulfillment in life, that whatever work they're doing is also bringing about social change. While they build their career, they're also building the nation. And they're ready to work with an acceptability that they should have a problem-solving attitude. You will go places in this company. You will go absolute places in the company. And I can assure you of that. My senior team can assure each one who's listening to this podcast at this point of time can be rest assured that this organization has one of the best working places in the world that I've ever worked. We are very small compared to large corporations. We may not have large infrastructures, but we are great at empathy and we are great at realizing that there are human beings who are at work rather than humanoids. But for us also, as long as you're solving a problem, one step, one math after another, you will go places in this company. Because we are not we do not have the baggage of seniority against merit. Merit takes first place. So if you are a 50-year-old and you work with the company for 20 years, you must be performing first of all. But that doesn't guarantee that somebody 28-year-old won't go above you if that person has the capacity. And because identification and spotting of talent is something that I do really good at this point of time, and that's perhaps my only job now, is to spot talent and incubate them. I think if you are from this generation and if you want to do something of that level, then this company provides you the best place to work on. I'm not saying against any other company. They also might have better places, but I'm talking about only this place.
Last podcast mein, you mentioned about that if the person doesn't know anything, it's good.
Correct. I remember, yeah.
But attitude has to something that he's ready to learn something.
See, as leaders also,
yeah.
You leaders also, I talk to so many CEOs and we go for roundtables and all that. I've understood the great ones are very different from the good ones. The great ones are always listening. And they're usually quiet. The great ones, right? And they're not very flamboyant. And they're always listening because of the willingness to learn. Means today also, I don't hesitate reaching out to my program team and saying, how do you do that? Means it didn't come to me. How do you do that? Tell me, explain to me. And I sit with them. Not from an angle of being a founder CEO. Founder to chhod do, ab 18 saal mein team has taken over. Founder ho gaya, kahani ab gaya. हाँ 18 साल बाद founder खेलने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. You started, but today 18 years it wouldn't have been possible without the team. So even with the team, you sit down and I say, okay, some of the toughest decisions of this company, the team has taken. I have not. I have complied with. So if you are willing to learn and if you are willing to accept that people might know more than you and you're gaining, not only for leadership, for personal growth also, that is the foundational stone. See, Einstein also said, I'm not a genius. I'm just curious. So if you're curious enough to learn about things, you will learn. You will not require always. You see, boss, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Okay. So I believe that. And I seriously know, I hope my core team doesn't listen to this part of the podcast, but they're really smart. And they really push me hard. And I think that if you ask me what have I achieved in these 18 years of working here, I think because of that, I've become more sensible in my personal life also. That force that I have to be right always, I have to prove myself always, has really gone out, has fizzled out. And it has always come that sometimes you are wrong. बोलते ना गालिब जिंदगी भर एक गलती करता रहा, धूल चेहरे पे थी, आईना साफ करता रहा. तो I have now realized as a leader that you need to take a backseat, accept the fact that you may be wrong at times, appreciate, recognize, and just keep your hand at the back of every team member and say, I'm there. That's all that they need.
So through this podcast, if I may ask, are you hiring people these days?
We are always looking for talent. Our process is a bit difficult because we don't hire for skill set, we hire for attitude. Because skill set, I think we can.
So you have like hiring process like round 1, round 2 kind of a thing.
Yeah. We have 3 or 4 rounds. Yeah. It takes a bit of time. We don't like hire against timelines. That tomorrow only we need somebody. But we are completely spotting talent, and now we are also spotting talent cross sections. So people from backgrounds of literature can taking care of marketing. People from different backgrounds are coming and doing different work.
It's thoda sa really exciting. Literature to marketing, how it is?
Approachability, thought process. During the process of interviews, you come to know that what is the approach of this person. Marketing mein communication clarity hai ki nahi. If I'm able to convert what I am thinking into simplest words or catchy tunes or catchy tones and make it consumable for the consumer, you've done a great job. You don't need an MBA marketing, right? Because degrees, even if at all they matter, they're just a starting point.
Okay.
But your attitude towards problems is something that is going to take you places in the global workspace, global economy. Yes. Take for example, Google. How did Sundar Pichai reach to the top? The only way is he knew problem solving and how it needs to be done. And he scaled heights. So we hire people who have that attitude. All our hires are On the spot every time? No, it does not. It does not happen. It doesn't happen with anybody, right? But usually it does.
Okay.
So that is why we take a lot of time to hire people, but we hire some of the best. Pay-wise, we pay one of the best in the industry. But we also do not, we are very, very concerned because we are a bootstrapped company and we are a zero debt company till now, right? We have not raised any fund from outside because we always feel that takes away a lot of independence from you. I don't know about future, but right now we are bootstrapped. So what we do is we don't expand too much. So you will read a lot of books and videos that build systems rather than building goals. I think when you are a company focused on a vision, systems can be 30-40%, but if the human spirit is 60-70%, you will get it. Right? So for me, there is hardly any difference between a Google spreadsheet and an Excel sheet. अगर आप काम कर रहे हो तो एक्सेल शीट में भी दिख जाएगा.
Right.
वो सिर्फ गूगल स्प्रेडशीट में कलर चेंज करके थोड़ा ना दिखेगा.
Right.
So if you have the right spirit. So coming back to your point when you said last podcast what we spoke about, I do not know this is not a crime, but I'm not willing to learn.
Yeah.
Is a criminality in this organization. Right. I never thought I'll have to jump into AI when I started this organization. I used to take pride in saying reading books and writing everything and all that. I think now PhD should be done in 2.5 years rather than 5 years.
Right.
People took 2 years to develop a bibliography for a PhD. Now you can go to AI platforms and at least shortlist what books you need to refer for those bibliographies. And earlier people used to read those books to understand whether it is worth or not for the PhDs. Now people will complete effective PhDs in 2.5-3 years. Yeah. What's wrong in it? But a degree is a starting point. It's not the end point. You can go ahead with it. And yes, if you're looking for that kind of an excitement with the social satisfaction that you're building the nation with while you build yourself, well, apply, come and join us. We're more than happy.
And sir, one message for corporate employees and for the NGO, the person who they're working and for the leaders of those sectors.
For CSR sake.
Yeah, CSR and even the corporate ones.
Well, if I'm selfish, I'll say, okay, come and become our clients, but that's another issue. But on a light note, but for corporations, it will be start focusing on impact more rather than just looking at the numbers of the output. I've explained enough on this. Look at the change that you have brought, and please figure out that if you would have not intervened in that project, would that change would have still happened or not? That is one. For NGOs, I think get ready. The credibility assessment process is going to get tougher. So documentation, foot on the ground, truthfulness with respect to real need and felt need. That has to be there. So we have to be ready for that. Norms are getting stricter day by day. Recently, the FCRA norms have changed. And so are the other norms going to change. You have to now file up CSR1. You need to be accredited with CSR1 formations to be, to receive CSR funds and all that. So you documentarily, you'll have to be very strong. Develop your local contacts. Get your foot on the ground. And start adapting technology rather than thinking that as long as you stay local, you will be okay. You have to also start adapting technology because the expectation from the donors will be now that you are not averse to tech.
Yeah.
And to the workforce is, if you have the talent, we are waiting, come and join. Great place to work. I love it. I don't come to the office just because I have to come, but I come because I love my team. I love the work I do. And everybody does that. I hope so.
And sir, before we, conclude this whole conversation, I really want our media team to create some mahal here to have a rapid fire round with you.
We need to create some.
Mahal, yeah. Some lights and all that, right? Sir, so we are back to this, our brand new rapid fire round. And our first question is, one word that defines great leadership. One word.
Power to delegate.
Okay.
Because I think if you don't have the power to delegate, you don't trust. Because trust comes first and then delegation. So if you're delegating, if you know the art of delegation, you trust your team. Job done. Delegation.
Done. Yeah. And ESG or CSR, which will shape the future more?
it's not a question of or, I think it's a question of and, but if one has to be selected, then ESG. Because CSR comes within ESG. So that's how it is. Yeah.
Data or intuition?
Data for insight, intuition for taking decisions.
One book every leader should read.
Okay, now
And let me ask, which is your favorite book in terms of this leadership and all that?
okay, so I think one book, there are two books actually,
Okay.
but if you talk, so one book is Good to Great by Jim Collins. Why I say this is because I've read it multiple times. That is one. The other thing is that it also elaborates that great companies don't become by chance. Great companies become when there are disciplined teams who take discipline based decisions. So that comes from that book. So I think if any new entrepreneur wants to start his journey, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, don't read the synopsis, but read the book Good to Great. But there's another book called, especially for the current generation, I think The Art of Impossible by Kotler. And I think everybody who reads Good to Great also should read this book, because The Art of Impossible also states that your brain will tend to do what it does. It's part of Newton's first law, but it's like if you just keep sleeping, your brain will tend to make you feel like you're sleeping. So if you're focused on what you want to achieve in life and you're thinking about it continuously, it will make you think more about it. So if you combine both of them, you will become unstoppable.
Okay. One leadership habit you wish you had developed earlier. It's a kind of a learning that you have learned from,
Listening power.
Okay.
I think I used to listen less. I used to speak more. I think through the leadership value chain, I have understood listening is a great power. And too many people are speaking. So if you just listen to what you need to, I think both personally and professionally, it will do wonders. So I think that listening power, I hope I had 5 years before realizing. I realized it 10, 11 years back. But if I would have had, I think I would have been far ahead by now.
One skill every young professional should learn before entering the workforce.
Problem solving attitude. I told you. One has to be, because as it is going with AI and all that, whatever you do, tech, non-tech, social, non-social, private, legal, financial, whatever it is, solve problems.
One CSR trend you are most excited about.
I think people are now asking questions, what change we brought about, rather than how much we spent. And that question has to grow.
Yeah,
that started, and I'm really excited. I want that to become a noise. Everybody should talk about what change they brought about, rather than just flaunting the numbers. Now, flaunt the numbers if you want to, means that has to be reported, but also flaunt the change that you brought about. How many lives did you change? That is going to be more positive in its effect.
And if you could change one thing about the CSR ecosystem overnight, what would that be?
Same change. I would stop companies from just mentioning the data on the amount they have spent, and I will force them to publish the numbers on the number of lives they have changed and how they have changed. So your earlier question has a similar answer as in this question.
Last but not the least, why our viewers should watch this podcast?
Well, first of all, they'll miss both of us if they don't see this podcast. But on a serious note, I think if the industry is going from few hundreds to 40,000 crore and 75,000 crore next 3-4 years, what I assume, my expectation, and with ESG coming in, it is no longer a boardroom discussion. It is now on the platform. One, it opens up a lot of careers for generations which are facing job crisis in the other areas. 2, it gives you effective social problem solving platform. 3, it should, I don't know whether it does or not, but intention is that it should enhance your knowledge capacity in the space so that you can take informed decisions. And 4, I think organizations should look at and listen to all of these, not only us, but others also, to develop a mindset which is positive and not centric to just the financial numbers, but also the effective change. So if all those, the audience has to, any segment of audience has to understand any one segment of this, they should just watch us and a lot of others like us who are talking sense. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Akash.
So, sir, it was lovely talking to you. And so I really want one message for me, for my audience, and the person who actually wants to contribute to this society. What would be that message would be? Let's start with me.
See you for the next podcast.
I'm lucky.
And no, first of all, with gratitude, thank you very much for coming. And I think you're getting way forward in CSR and understanding. One message is, I think, focus on the social issues.
Yeah.
This message is largely for everyone. Focus on social issues. And especially for this generation, I think focus on solving problems. Develop a problem-solving attitude. Stop daydreaming. The world is getting tighter. It is getting tougher. Life is not fair. It will never be. There'll be competition, both at an institutional level, at an individual level. But there'll always be space for people who have a problem-solving attitude. So, for the generation Z, if you want to call them, develop that attitude of problem-solving. And for social organizations, get ready. The CSR space is warming up. And in our next few sessions, we'll dive deep into proposal research and how impact research needs to be done. What are the toolkits that they can use in order to work, and it will be more informative. And one assurance that we will not stop short of doing everything for us. And to our clients, thank you for showing your trust and putting your trust in us. And to my team, it would be, let's just carry on. We are doing a great job.
Yes, even we are doing a great job. And that's it for today. And keep helping others, and keep taking care of yourself, and keep checking the nearby ones also. So this is me, Akash, signing off.